Good morning, Upside family.
Good morning.
Morning.
Here with the team again, another morning, glorious day, another workout. Here with Quinn, special guest Donovan today worked out,
Big general. Yeah.
and Cedric Reese,
Yes,
one
sir.
and only. Today, the message was about champion. What does being a champion mean to you?
Champion mindset, most definitely.
And I guess I'm gonna start off. I'm gonna go first. To me, a champion is always doing the unwilling, always going after what nobody else will, being the best that you can be. In my perspective, a champion is a person that always goes the extra mile when no one's looking. That's basically what a champion is to me.
I like that. Donna, what up? Yeah. Special guest.
What does it mean to be a
I like
champion?
this. You gotta speak loud.
Speak
You
loud.
gotta say it loud so they can hear you.
Loud and proud.
So we talk about the three intangibles. Slow it down. The three intangibles of being a champion. We talk about being a champion. We say it means to be the best at what you do. We talk about the three intangibles of being a champion. The first one is hard work. So Donovan's going to explain three intangibles. So hard work, what does it mean to have hard work? So say it again.
Give it 110 always.
To give 110% always. The second one is called discipline.
Doing the right thing always when nobody's looking.
Doing the right thing always when no one's looking. And the third one is what? Commitment. What does commitment mean?
Always having a champion mindset.
Always having a champion mindset. And like we say, champion, being a champion is being the best version of yourself. When I think about being a champion, I think about love. When we talk about love, we're talking about living, expressing the best version of oneself. Love is the greatest language ever wrote, ever told, ever lived. If we can follow love, live out love, you're living out a champion lifestyle. You're living out a champion mind. You have that champion mindset because you're always thinking love. You're always thinking the best, what's best for me, and what's best for others at the same time. When we say love, when I define love as this. L stands for leadership. Leadership is knowing who you are and what you want. We talk about O. The O stands for the overcome. Okay, there's always going to be adversity. There's no way to be a champion if you don't face adversity. There's going to be obstacles and things in your way, and you just got to know how to respond to those things. So overcoming is part of having that champion mindset. V stands for value. All right, so value is the same thing as empathy, not sympathy, not feeling sorry for other people, but empathy, being able to put yourself in their shoes, being able to share that love for one another. You are filled with love. You should be able to fill one another's cup with love. E stands for the end. The end is commitment. The end is understanding that you're having a champion mindset at the end. You should always think excellence. The best version of yourself is excellent. The best version of yourself is being a champion. So when we say champion, it means being the best version of yourself. The best version of yourself is loving yourself, the highest version. So.
And a lot of us don't do that. You know, we constantly doubt ourselves. We're not confident enough. You know, we don't push ourselves to be the best we can be. We don't think we can be the best we can be. The battle always starts with you.
Okay.
So that's most definitely, I'm glad you pointed that out.
Right.
That's most definitely.
Well, championship mindset. Like they were saying, champion. When you could be a winner. The winner and the champion is totally just different. Like a winner, they sold, their validation. Yeah. They whole validation is in the win or loss. See, the champion is all internal. It's about the journey, like Bob has said. You know what I'm saying? It's internal, and it's that mindset. So one of the first things with like that champion mindset is how like they don't have an adversarial mindset. They see their opponent as teachers. Because they understand, like, that's how they learn. It's a learning opportunity.
Absolutely.
And that's when you have that champion mindset. See, when you're a fan and all that, it's different from the champion mindset. So that's one of the biggest things for me and having that champion mindset. It's just really seeing everything as a teacher.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's a chance you can learn and grow. You can apply that to your life, like how I instead of seeing my wife when there's conflict as an opponent, I view her as a teacher. She's teaching me things that I may not see about myself,
Right.
and that I can work on. You know what I'm saying? That's the same way I take in athletics, because if you have that adversarial mindset, a lot of stuff can creep in, your emotions creep in, and then you have, like, especially in athletics, fear can come in.
Right.
And fear, it restricts the blood flow, it creates tension, and now you can't perform. Your reflexes are slow because you done gave in the fear. And that's another thing with the champion. They embrace failure. They embrace it because they know it's another chance to learn from it. And that's one of the biggest things in football and in any sport. You have to embrace failure, because if you're not ready to fail, you can't perform. You know, you're gonna be held. You're gonna be held in that tension line. I can witness that. And so I know one example is in football. I don't know. We was training one day, me and you, bro. I think you had some boys out there. I was playing wide receiver, and I kept going out for a pass, but he kept pushing me down. My hand went up. You know what I'm saying? And so that's one of the things I learned from that. But that's how, when you have a championship mindset, even though me getting pushed down is embarrassing.
Right.
But I learned from that day on.
Right.
It was a learning opportunity to keep my hands up. And so it's stuff like that, just having that championship mindset. And that's what, you know.
To add to that, I kind of look at things in the same perspective. Like when we training,
Yeah.
I always, try to make everything fun. Sometimes a little too fun when I'm trying to work out.
Competitive.
Yeah, competitive.
Yeah.
But I always think of a champion mindset is to observe things and not absorb things.
Right.
Because if the mindset is not right, you're not gonna grasp what needs to be grasped.
Right.
So
That's good.
I try to observe things
Right.
on a humble heart,
Yeah.
and not absorb things.
Right.
When I say it's absorb, more in a negative
Right.
way,
So you're being
like constructive
proactive
criticism or
instead of reactive.
proactive.
Kinda, being
Yeah.
proactive.
So
That's important, man. That's important because you don't want, like, fear. Sometimes those negative emotions actually have a greater impact, and their forces come even with working out. Eccentric movement, which would be a negative movement, have a deeper impact than concentric, which would be a positive movement.
Right.
It's all science and it's all real. They're just negative. You have the negativity is like double or quadruple around us than you see more positivity
True.
around us. So
True.
and that's the adversity that you face, even like living a Christ-like, or trying to walk in a Christ-like manner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're gonna see negative things, people doing things they shouldn't be doing, but it's up to us, like, to stand on that word. You know what I mean, and have that positivity in us to overcome all the sinfulness that goes on around us.
Yeah. I think we're picking back on what you're saying with that championship, that champion mindset, and how you can relate it spiritually. Is we all know the champion is not about, it's all internal, like we said. So a lot of times you can apply that, especially when there's conflict in your relationship and all that. That's great time, because really the championship mindset is about denying your flesh. And you know what I'm saying? It's the fight with yourself,
right.
and your tendencies, your bad habits, and all that.
Right.
And it's all in that. You know what I'm saying? And it's really that, and you can tie it into it. We won the race because of Christ,
Right.
but we're trying to develop those championship qualities, like was preached last week. And so that right there, that is gonna take that RDX, that regiment, that discipline, and that examination, and all that. And that's why you can tie it in all together. You know what I'm saying? But you can. One thing I do see, that championship mindset, a lot of times you can be lonely in that, because if I'm arguing with my wife, I want to respond out of my flesh and let her know what time it is. You know what I'm saying? But having that championship mindset, you have to, you tie it to the Father, and that's what you're trying to develop, that skill. So, yeah, you know what I'm saying?
See, I want you to go back when you said that.
Yeah.
Because you said something, but I want to be able to grasp what you said.
Yeah.
you said being tied to the Father.
Yeah.
So you gotta be anchored with something.
Yeah, most definitely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In order to express it. Go
Yeah.
ahead. Go
Well,
ahead.
you're right. You're wrong. I want you to roll.
Yeah. No, go ahead. Finish
Nah,
what
but
you
yeah.
saying.
So just being tied to the Father, you know, and then that's who you your glory is in that moment, because the moment was to be a champion. You gonna have God gonna present so many opportunities throughout your daily life for you to practice that and hone in on that skill. And
Temptation.
so it's gonna be there. And
Temptation.
it's a battle. It's a battle up here, just like it is on the football field.
Right.
Just because even though we talking right now, if it's time to go play,
Yeah.
and it's the championship, or this the gold, this the Olympics, and this the final,
Right.
it's the final heat, and it's
Yeah.
100 meters. Only the real champions, they able to block out all that noise and all that,
Absolutely.
and able to perform.
That-
Because it ain't nothing to do with the practice, you know what I'm saying?
That
But-
brings us back all the way to clutter.
yeah, everything is a
brings us
cycle.
all
You
the
get
way
it?
back to clutter, yeah.
we
You
tied it in.
gotta-
Yeah.
You gotta
Yeah.
block out the clutter.
And so that and all that, when you're doing all that, that's the champion. That's the difference between the champion. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the big. All I know for sure is physical talent. That's the foundation. But the soil that foundation is on is that mental and that emotional.
Yes.
talent.
So the
The
belief.
alpha,
Yeah.
the alpha, the true alpha is not so much of physicalness,
Yeah.
but more mental.
Facts.
Absolutely.
It took me a while to figure it
Yeah.
out, but that's the true alpha. That was good. That was a good
Yeah, man.
breakdown. That was a good breakdown.
It boils down to anchor. The anchor comes from the belief that we
Yeah.
talked about, man.
Yeah.
It boils down to the belief. Do you really believe? You know, at the end of the day, but we can train. You can have the
Right.
regimen. You can
Yeah.
have the discipline.
Yeah.
Even, but adversity has a language of its own.
Fact.
You know, the competitor
Yeah.
that the competitor that you're gonna face, the trials you're gonna face, they speak a language of their own.
Yeah.
And
That's it.
sometimes those forces are stronger.
Yeah.
And it'll break you down physically and it'll break you down mentally. And you have to reach in the spiritual and be anchored
Yeah.
on your belief.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta understand that you have to will your way through a lot of things, man, that comes from your belief.
So
You know,
that brings you back to constantly sharpening your sword.
constantly.
More of what you listen to, more of what you see, more of what you do is more of what you get.
Fact.
Absolutely.
So when you say anchor and when you say tap into spiritual world, well, in order to tap into it, you got to be in the realm of it.
Right.
So you must be within the realm. You must be within the facility. You must
Yeah, you
be
gotta
in the
you gotta train.
accountability.
You gotta train.
Yeah,
You can't
you
just
got to train.
Yeah, you can't just come out down the football field and be like, oh, I got the champion mindset.
Yeah.
You know, you got to put it work in. You know, but a champion already know that. You
Right.
can't.
Already.
That's one thing about a champion. You can't
Yeah.
fake it.
Can't fake it,
You can't
man.
fake it. You can't
All
fake it.
else fails, man. When you're back against the wall, when you down, you know, we down. It's 0-0.
Yeah.
The other team has the ball.
Mhm.
You know, the opposing team has the ball. They're in your red zone. They got four chances to score, and you still believe. You only
Yeah.
got a minute left on the clock. You know, you can get a guy like Calvin Reed took the ball.
Yeah.
They throw it past Calvin Reed, took the ball, and JR pick it off and run it all the way back home
Yeah.
and win the championship.
Fact.
Shout out
You know,
to JR.
Yeah, it goes down like that because he believed when it came down to it, even when you're back against the wall, man,
Yeah.
that hey, I gotta defend this, I have to stand up for this, because this is what I believe at the end of the day, and that's just what that's part of being anchored. That's what it is.
Yep, and to tie in more to a worldly related subject, champion, just right now with this COVID-19, with the financial crisis, that ties big with being a champion because it's gonna test your uncertainty.
Yeah,
It's in a different round. You're not used to missing days of work. You're
Yeah.
not used to probably the kids or being around the wife all day. You're not used to this lifestyle. So every day every minute, every second, your lifestyle is being tested.
Right.
Are you gonna be a champion, or are you gonna be just ordinary winner? I would say a person who just basically trying to get through the day and
Soul banger, just winning.
just winning. I'm tying it to related to Christ. Like I would say, are you really deeply focusing on the things that matter, which is the spiritual life, or are you worried about the worldly things?
You know what I mean? And that's a champion mindset. That's definitely. I end it with this. I know one thing, like growing up playing football, I always had the physical talent, but I never really had that champion mindset. Like I remember when we used to like Mighty Mics and Daytona get off the bus, all black team, they got mismatched helmet. I used to be, and they'd get off like, and we be on the field practice, and they be like, man, y'all sorry, man, they get off the bus, the boy was just out the gate, and I used to just like, oh snap, and that's why I'll be stuck at. And man, that's what I'm big on my kids of developing, of just showing that it's not about what your opponent going through. It's not about your opponent.
They great matter.
It's all you. Cause I'm telling you, I'm more than likely 90% sure I'm faster than everybody on the field and raw than them. But I couldn't pull it, even though my talent it disguised it. But anybody that really knew what was going on, they be like, oh no, he holding something wrong with him. My talent disguised it for a little bit until I got bigger and bigger. And then now my talent couldn't disguise it. Now you're going against boys that's really, your size, and they can really dress. That's way bigger than me.
Right.
And that's when you're gonna see, oh, do you have that mindset? And so that's the one thing I'm really big on. Is just developing that in my kids. When they running, it's about them not looking at their opponent if he faster than them. It's about them just getting them, and he running his fast. He getting his potential, maximizing his potential, and he using his opponent as a gauge. As like, all right, I can get faster in this area. You know what I'm saying? And that's how you got to see it. If you can start that early, man, I'm telling you, and they can start applying that, just not in athletics, but you start applying in their daily life, and that's what it's about. You know what I'm saying? That's really that champion mindset. So
your perspective.
Yeah.
Definitely your perspective.
Most definitely.
And knowing in this world we live in is definitely not what's around you, or perhaps it's not what's on you, but what's in you.
Right.
That's
so
it.
absolutely. That's what we leave it at.
Yeah. Upside, let's tighten up. Champion mindset, man.
Champion mindset.
Hey, shout out my dog Donovan, man. I appreciate you. Yes, sir.
Champion. Phone. Team.
And that boy ready, man. All right, man.
Team. All right. Yes, sir.